And welcome back to Anyone's Hunt. My name's Stephen Drake, and in this video I'm going to show you how to find antlers like this one. The goal of Anyone's Hunt is to get more people hunting by sharing hunting opportunities that are available to anyone. And in this episode, I'm just going to give you a breakdown on how to shed hunt. I'm going to share with you some tips and tactics that I use, share with you some of the gear that I use, and show you just how much fun shed hunting can be. That said, here is a little montage of some of my favorite shed hunting memories. Check this out. I don't think there's a finer sight. Makes your heart pound every time. I like it a lot. All right, let's dive in. What's so cool about shed hunting? First off, finding antlers like this one is super rad. Secondly, shed hunting brings hunting full circle. You know, you're out there constantly learning and adding to your knowledge base of hunting and of animals. A lot of what I've learned in the spring through shed hunting has transpired over super well to fall hunting season. There's been a number of animals that I've harvested due to the knowledge and kind of wisdom that I've gained through spring shed hunting. This is gonna sound really simple, but to find elk sheds, you've gotta hike and look and search where the bull elk are living. Every western state that has elk is gonna have elk sheds. So let's use the state of Colorado, for example. So Colorado has roughly 250,000 elk in the state. Roughly 25% of that population is bull elk, and so that means there's about 62,000 bull elk in the state. Every bull elk has 2 antlers. That means there's 124,000 fresh elk sheds every single year. That said, they're still pretty dang hard to find. All public lands are open for shed hunting. Do note that some states have restrictions on certain pieces of land, so be sure to refer to your state's regulations before you go out and shed hunt. Elk shed their antlers when their testosterone is at its lowest point, and generally speaking, the best months to find elk sheds are in April and May. It's tempting to go in early in hopes that a bull may have dropped his antlers early, but be patient and watch from afar and just wait until those antlers are on the ground before you run in. This is just going to help reduce the risk of potentially bumping these elk and pressuring them and harassing them during their weakest months. Some key features within the onX app that I love for shed hunting are, first off, when you're at a cell service, you can still utilize onX and all of its maps and features by downloading offline maps. To save an offline map, it's super simple. So before you head out, tap the offline maps button, tap new offline maps, select your resolution detail. I'm going to choose 150 mile wide zone so that I capture a large area. Then I'm going to drag it around to the area I want and then press save to begin downloading this offline map. Then when you're out in the woods and you lose service, just switch over to offline mode and you'll be able to access all of your offline maps. So secondly, onX comes with 3 base maps. The first base map is a topography map. The second is satellite imagery. And the third is a hybrid between the two. It's got topo lines on top of the satellite imagery. And that is the one that I prefer to use for shed hunting. Often I'm looking for areas that have lots of benches in them. Elk tend to bed on benches. And so I can see those benches with the topo lines, but then I'm also looking for areas that have lots of feeding grounds and bedding zones. And I can see those areas via the satellite image overlay. Third, waypoints are super beneficial. When I'm winter scouting, I will mark bulls' locations with waypoints. I can actually upload photos of those elk into that waypoint, and I can even share that waypoint with my shed hunting partner. To share a waypoint, super simple. I'm just gonna click into the waypoint, and then at the bottom, I'm just gonna press the share button, and then I can either text or email it to a friend. And the fourth feature within the onX app that I love for shed hunting is the tracker feature. When you start your shed hunt, just open up the onX app and then down in the bottom right, click the tracker button and then press start. This feature gives you a live track of your exact route, which is super helpful if you're grid searching a zone looking for sheds. It's also beneficial in case you drop something or you lost something, you can see your exact tracks. You can actually backtrack and go find whatever you lost. The tracker feature also keeps track of your mileage, so at the end of the day, you can see just how many miles you've hiked. So again, to find elk sheds, you need to find where the bull elk are living and hike in those places. One of the most beneficial tactics that I've found for shed hunting is to locate the bulls in the winter. And so often right after hunting season, a lot of these animals will show up on their winter ranges. These winter ranges, they're often big south-facing slopes, windswept knobs and whatnot. A lot of these spots, you can glass them from highways, glass them from roads. Others you're gonna have to hike into. Right now I'm glassing some bulls from a road. But once you find them in the winter, you can drop a pin on onX where their location is, and that's gonna give you a really, really great starting place to look come springtime. So if you are able to find a handful of elk sheds, what do you do with them? I like to decorate my house with them. You can also make antler art out of them. You can also sell them to local shed buyers. I spend between 20 and 30 days shed hunting every spring, and the money that I make off of the sheds that I do sell, it's barely enough to cover my gasoline. It's definitely not a for-profit endeavor by any means, but there's nothing better than spending a bunch of time out in the spring learning about elk and hiking your face off. Now I'm just going to go over a few key pieces of gear that are unique to shed hunting. So first off, this is the day pack I'm running. This is a Mystery Ranch Scapegoat 35. It's a 35-liter pack, decent sized day pack. And what I really like about it, there's these two long straps that go horizontally across the entire back of the pack, and that just makes it very easy to strap antlers on. If you are shed hunting with a partner, really great to keep in touch with them via a two-way radio. If you are fortunate enough to find a handful of antlers, the best way to pack them out is to strap them together first, either with this strap here. It's called a Titan strap. Also use electrical tape. And then once you have it all strapped together, then you attach it to your backpack. A lot of the western states have grizzly bears, so it's really good to always pack bear spray with you. Ticks can be really bad in the springtime. I spray down all of my gear with this permethrin spray from Sawyer. The bull elk are often living at pretty high elevations, often way up in the snow, and so snowshoes can be a huge help. All right, let's go shed hunt.
Here we go.
Shed hunting partner just hit me on the radio. She's across the draw and she says, hey, there's a sow and two cubs in the draw between us. So I worked around, looked down, and sure as heck about 200 yards below me there's a sow and two cub black bears, kind of a chocolate color phase bears. Pretty cool.
All night, you better check for pose. You better check for pose.
So I've been shed hunting for about 15 years now, and in that time I've just found there's a handful of things that help me yield more sheds. The first of which is to hike where the bull elk are. Secondly, and kind of along those lines, is if you're finding a bunch of cow elk either while you're out hiking or when you're scouting in the winter, look higher. The bulls are always higher than the cows, and rarely are they with the cows. They're usually bachelored up in their own little group. My third tip is to search for elk sheds in those really weird, obscure spots. Shed hunting is really competitive these days, and there's people out pretty much everywhere. Instead of getting frustrated, you got to look where other people aren't looking. Whether it's just little timber patches right down along creek bottoms and kind of the thick, nasty stuff. Anywhere where you think other people aren't going to walk, there could be sheds there. Final tip is that there really seems to be a direct payoff or ratio between miles walked and sheds found. When I first started shed hunting, I was averaging 1 shed per every 10 miles hiked. At the end of the day, they are where you find them, and if you're not finding sheds, just keep hiking. Check this out.
Mile 6 for the day, first brown elk shed. Sweet.
It appears I found the zone. Went about 200 yards further, and boom, elk shed number 2 for the day. This is the first shed I found, and this is the second. And judging by their proximity and very similar characteristics, I'd say this is a match set.
You better check for pose. If it's
That's a good one. Well, that was an awesome day. Put on about 10 miles, got 4 sheds, 2 mule deer, 2 elk, and had a heck of a good time stretching the legs. But that is a wrap from Anyone's Hunt Shed Hunting. Hope you like it, hope you learned something from it, and I will see you in the next one.
what can you do?